Blumhouse's Sick. Now that feels like a January movie.
Oh yeah, it does. Woo! Wow.
It's a modern day slasher film, and they brought Kevin Williamson back to write it, who wrote The Faculty, which is the first video we did together.
That's right. That's right. It was you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell with this movie.
Yeah. Wow. So, you know, that's like cool. I'm sure that'll be interesting or good. There's been some good home invasion movies in recent memory. I mean, I really liked Hush. Hush was really good.
Hush was great. That was a fantastic movie.
Hush was great. People really liked I'm not the biggest fan of it, and I am going to talk about it on the show at some point, but You're Next. People really like that movie.
Okay, I dig that.
Yeah, there's some really good home invasion movies. So I was like, yeah, you know what? This is new. It's relevant. It's topical. I was kind of interested in the whole, like, it takes place in 2020 during a lockdown. I'm like, that's kind of a fun time to, like,
it's a good concept
to set a horror movie. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put it on. I couldn't get through it in one sitting. I had to take a break.
The amount of times like you texted me and said, dude, this movie pisses me off.
It makes me, so, which by the way, to the movie's credit, it really takes you back to 2020 when everyone was overly paranoid and freaking out way too much and being a real asshole about everything. And by the way, Joey, since we are on YouTube, and I learned this from my friend Carl, things you have to do to stay on YouTube. Everything the CDC did was right. Fauci is a hero.
Yes,
and he did everything right, and we agree with everything because we want to stay 100%. On YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's right. Of course we do.
Every time Fauci said something, I said, I agree. Like when he said masks didn't work, I went, I agree. And then when he changed his mind, I went, I agree again.
Yep, 100%. Yes. I have one in my pocket. I'm ready to go.
Yes. So like, I just want to, because I want to stay on. There you go. Since I want to stay on YouTube, I just wanted to make that very, very clear. I got vaccinated multiple times. Anyway,
me too.
So Sick. These girls decide it's lockdown. They're gonna go to the one girl's. Her parents must be rich.
Rich as fuck. What do you mean?
Yeah,
rich?
They're gonna go to her family's cabin to quarantine for 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks. That's all it'll take.
It's 2 miles to the next house. Are you kidding me?
Yes. So they go to the mountains, quarantining, and right away the girl's like lecturing her friend, like, you have to wear a mask, you have to do this, make sure you're doing this. It's like, oh my god,
spraying the Lysol in the air, wiping down the cereal boxes.
This is bringing me back. I'm getting PTSD.
Like I said, the amount of times you texted me, just very angry. This movie does make you angry. It brings you back to a wild time.
Yes.
Now, I worked in the public during this time, so it really gives me like war flashbacks. Like seriously. Wearing gloves when I go into the McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't tell you what the public was like because I want to stay on YouTube, I was agreeing with everything the news was telling me, and I stayed inside.
Yep, 15 feet.
Yes, I quarantined from everyone. My girlfriend at the time, I said, you're sleeping in another room. Get away from me. We have to coordinate bathroom times. Funny thing is, if that was true, I'd be a character in this movie.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah, but the one girl is sad. She was hooking up with a guy, but he never answered her back after a party. And then her ex-boyfriend shows up to their party.
Dude, they weren't even dating. It's not even an ex. He was just some dude they were like, they had a fling with.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention. So yeah, the movie starts. The actual opening of the movie, the opening kill, is like a guy. Like this is like when lockdown is just happening.
Yeah.
So he's in a store. There's a girl who coughs, and everyone gives her dirty looks.
Oh yeah, that brought me right back, man.
Yes.
Like I had said the F word in the grocery store.
I had a nurse in the but during all this I had to get like a surgery on my eye again.
Yeah.
And it was early in the morning, and like some saliva went down my throat, and I started coughing, and the nurse was giving me the dirtiest look. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm just coughing. I'm not sick. So yes, the movie is good at that. Some kid gets killed by a man in a mask. And I thought that could be cool because during the beginning of lockdown, I was just wearing all my monster masks at all the stores.
That is actually hilarious.
I gotta find
That
the
is
picture.
so
Like
funny.
I went in my Undertaker mask, my
No
my
way.
leather face mask. Yeah. I was like, oh, I have an excuse to wear masks in public. I'm gonna wear the dumbest mask possible.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
Wow.
so then that guy dies. We don't know why or who he is. The girls go to the cabin, the ex-boyfriend shows up, and I thought maybe it was gonna be like a whodunit. And suddenly killers show up to the house. Killers, plural. You don't know that right away, but that ends up being it. And after like the first 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes pissed me off, but like in a good way, where it's like, no, this is supposed to piss you off.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie just fucking sucks.
Dude, and then the car scene with the woman just infuriated me.
Oh my, yeah. Okay. You know what?
I was at the edge of my seat. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Real quick, I'm gonna do a poll. So I'm gonna ask if people want this spoiled. Should we spoil Sick? And I'll let that go for like a few minutes.
There's a lot to be spoiled.
So yeah, the movie is not very scary. I'll give it that. It's not very scary at all. When you see what the twist is, it's more infuriating than anything. But while we're waiting for this poll to go, the main actress sounded very familiar and looked very familiar to me.
I still think that. So now I'm curious.
Okay. So I did, but I looked at her and I'm like, I've never seen this woman in my life. Why is there's something about her that I'm recognizing? So I look her up and then I see she has a sister, and her sister is the girl from the new Hellraiser movie. The main actress.
Whoa.
But the girl in the new Hellraiser movie had the same name as the girl in Sick, the same last name, but it turns out she changed her last name. So the girl in Sick has the original last name, and I'm like, well, now I'm thinking of the Hellraiser girl. I'm like, well, actually, I remember watching Hellraiser thinking she reminded me of someone too. And I'm like, who are these girls reminding me of? So I look up their mom, and they're related to Pamela Adlon from Californication, the Louis C.K. shows, and the voice of Bobby Hill in King of the Hill. And then that's when it clicked. I'm like, all three of those women sound like Bobby Hill. And that was the connecting thing that made me.
Oh my God.
They all have like a raspy kind of little boy voice.
No. Oh man. That paints this movie in a whole new picture.
Because when I think of Pamela Adlon, I think of mostly Californication and King of the Hill. And she's in a ton of other stuff. I didn't even know she had daughters, but apparently they're both acting in horror movies.
That's
one
crazy.
is acting in better horror movies than the other.
Yep, that's right.
All right, I'm looking at this poll. It's only been up for a minute, but there's 55 votes. It's overwhelmingly positive. 91%. They want us to spoil this movie. Okay, Joey. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So spoiler, there's a lot of running around. The main girl, so the one girl, the friend gets thrown out a window and breaks her leg, so she's kind of hiding in the house.
It was kind of a brutal fall. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal fall. The main girl ends up killing one of the killers.
That's right. In a very brutal fashion.
It's revealed that there are more. I'm going to talk about the violence toward the end. Then it's revealed that there are more killers. And while running away after this like raft scene where she's on a raft, after running away, and when you find out who this killer is, it's like, wow, that guy got in the freezing cold water and swam for that long. So she's running away, and she runs into an old lady, not an old lady, but like an older lady in a car.
Yeah, she's old to us.
Who that actress? I'm blanking on her name, but she was in. I don't know if you've ever seen Todd Solondz's Happiness.
Nope.
She in that movie, she is throughout the whole film. I think she is like sexually harassed through the phone by Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I made in college, I made a short film where I took all Philip Seymour Hoffman's calls from that movie and made it look like he was calling me. Anyway, she gets in guys, she gets in this old lady's car, and the girl's like, "You need to wear a mask before you get my car." It's like, "A guy's trying to murder me."
Dude, she's
It's
banging on the
sorry.
thing and like,
It's
oh
like,
my
no, maybe she's
God.
like, "I have a mask. You can wear my mask." Turns out this old lady is the bad guy. And I love she's like, "Oh, it smells like chloroform, doesn't it?" So what we learn,
It
what we
fucking
learn,
upsets me just thinking about it.
which by the way, I don't know how they have a test because like early 2020, like this seems like it's the beginning of lockdown. There weren't really tests going around yet, right?
That's a good point. That is a good point. They were scarce. They were very scarce.
Yes. So it turns out the guy she made out with at the party, and they make sure to read her hashtags. Whereas like
So
hashtag
cringy.
apocalypse sucks, hashtag end of the world
Fuck
party.
COVID. Like,
Yeah. It turns
Gen
out
Z
she
shit.
made out with that guy, and she gave him COVID, and he died.
Done.
And like 7 other people died, I guess. And the guy who got killed in the beginning of the movie was the person who got her sick. How the
Yes.
family found any of this out is beyond, like, who is this family? Because, like, sure, he's making out with that girl, but we see in the video no one's wearing a mask. We don't know what he did before or after that night.
That's a good point. But contact tracing was a big business in 2020. So maybe they're just, investigative journalists. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but now they're upset that she literally kills the second son. We know that for sure. She bashes his face in.
Yes, it does.
So they've now lost 2 sons to this girl. And this whole time they're like, yeah, we need to punish you for not following the CDC's rules and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my God. Them being so annoying about this stuff is worse than the murders.
No, exactly. And while she's sitting on the couch and they're just explaining it, I'm just thinking, oh my God.
And I'm
You're making a fatal mistake here.
And I'm just like, this is the killer's motivation. I'm like, this is kind of stupid. This is kind of stupid. Like, I need to know how they traced everything. I don't understand.
I wonder if there's like a deeper level of like commentary that this film is discussing, like the accountability aspect or the insaneness of the people on
I was shocked the
sides.
people who like are sticklers for COVID were the bad guys in the movie, because I'm like, oh, I feel like that goes against what Hollywood wants.
Oh, that's
I was not expecting that.
That's a great point.
Now, so the movie is not really good. It's not very scary. The characters kind of suck. Like, I don't really care about any of the characters. The bad guys
There's no connection
suck.
there.
Yeah, the bad guys suck. How they tried to make up for all this movie is like unapologetically violent.
Very violent.
Whereas Megan cut out the violence, they put all the violence in this.
Oh my God. Once
like
again, another movie that made me like outwardly gasp when some of the people got killed.
Yes. It's pretty brutal. Like, the guy like falls through antlers, the son gets his face beaten, and then like at the end the mom gets lit on fire, and it's not even, she's like, oh, I'm on fire, and she runs away. They make sure to follow her, run down the street for like 2 minutes until she falls over.
A very impressive shot.
Yeah, it was an impressive shot, but I'm like, man, this doesn't seem like, the violence in this movie doesn't really match the feel of the rest of the movie. I guess it feels kind of weird.
It does. Yeah.
I appreciated the violence because everything else in the movie sucked.
No, I think it made the movie fun in that aspect of it. Because where it lacked in character development, it made up for in kills. And I was pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, I guess. But overall, not good. I do not recommend Sick at all.
And the only good part is when the main murderer dude, the dad, falls off the balcony.
Yeah, onto the antlers.
On the antlers. Oh my God. That was brutal, dude.
Yeah.
That scene alone was great.
But yeah, the biggest twist of the movie was me finding out who that actress's mother was. Shit, the one in Sick looks more like the mom than the girl in Hellraiser.
That's wild.
Yeah.
He went on a rabbit hole there.
I watch a lot of King of the Hill where I could just be like, ah, yes, that is Bobby Hill's voice. I recognize Bobby Hill's voice.